Hey everyone, hope you're having a great week. Happy Friday. Welcome to another Feature Friday where we're going to look today at automations. So, we've previously looked at journeys. Automations is a similar concept. It allows you to build your own automation. So, the concept of like, when this happens, I want the system to go do X, Y, and Z. And that's really what the idea behind automations is. And so, we can create a new automation and we have a lot of different triggers that we can choose from when we're doing automations. Things like contacts being created or updated, or the stage changing on a contact, a new recurring donor being created, things like contacts being added to certain badges or marketing lists, things like ask stage changes, so you can build out automations around your ask boards so that when an ask stage change, we want it to go and set up a task for somebody to do this if these things are true. And a lot of things, even just like date related, so memberships expiring or being set for auto renewals, or pledges coming up for renewal, or contact birthdays. And a newer one is form responses received. So we can actually trigger off of somebody filling out a form that you've created and embedded on your website. And then based on what's coming through that form, being able to decide what you want to do. And so the first step is we pick that trigger. I'm actually going to look at a couple that we have built here as examples. Let's look at this bulk text reply. So I'm going to stop this one so that we can actually see it. So our trigger was an activity was created. We can give it a name, and the activity type was SMS message received. Now we can choose different activity types for this automation, and it will trigger just on that type of activity. We also have a requires approval. So if we turn this on, when we do, rather than just automatically running, we're able to have it trigger an approval step to somebody's action board. And so that could either be the owner of the record with a fallback if it doesn't have an owner, or if every time that this automation runs, you want a specific person to be the approval step, you can set that user. I'm not going to do that here, but that is an option. And then we can set up our filters. And so in this case, what we are doing here is we're essentially building an autoresponder for text messages. So the trigger was that the SMS message is received. And now in our filters, we're saying we only want this to run when that message contains either volunteer or camp. And so those are the keywords that we are looking for. Maybe we've said, like, if you're interested in more information, text volunteer to our number, for example. Or these are just words that we're looking for in the body. So these are our filters. And we can set up filters on really any property from the record, the activity itself in this example, or from the related contact. So maybe we only want this if the contact fits a certain profile. We only want it to run in that instance. And so we're able to set up those filters. And that really governs whether this automation is actually going to run when it gets triggered. It needs to fulfill all of these criteria for it to run. So let's assume that it does run. We've now set up our trigger. Now we can set up our different actions. And so actions, we have lots of different action steps. We can send an email externally. We can send an internal email. We can send a text, a letter, create tasks, add badges, marketing lists, all sorts of different things. You can see a couple are grayed out here. It's because these are specific to a gift style automation. So if we had triggered this off of a gift related, such as a gift being created, those would be available for me. Since this isn't related to a gift, those automatically get grayed out. We can call webhooks. We can add nudges to an action board, all sorts of different things that we can do as actions when these triggers happen. You can see here, we've set this one up with an internal email, and it's an internal notification that someone's interested in volunteering. And so again, we can set up filters on both the activity or the contact to only do this particular step when these filters get met. And what's nice about that is within one automation, you can have it do multiple different things or even branches based on the filters on each action that's happening. And so our first thing is we're going to send that internal email. we can set up how many days we want an action to wait from the time that the trigger kicks off to when it runs. And then we can set up the content for this internal email, for example. So we're letting them know that this person, first and last name, using our merge tags, texted volunteer, and here's their mobile number. The next thing we would do, and this is a perfect example of that branch, is this one runs, if we look at it, only when it contains volunteer, whereas this branch runs when it contains camp. So if you remember in our trigger, we said run it if it contains either of these. And now at the step level, we're able to define, we only want this step to run if this is true. So we can create that branch. And so this is going to send a little different email internally. This could also respond with a text back to the contact that texted in. It could do all sorts of things. And so the whole idea behind our automations tool is to let you take things that typically would require manual work and build out these automations that help automate those steps or that work that needs to get done. And we can always come and look when it's running at completed items. So this one's run 2 different times, and I can even go and see the steps and even see the related activity that triggered this to kick off. So really a cool feature and something that I think saves a ton of time and a ton of manual work if you can set these up to automate those administrative processes that tend to take a lot of human time and let you focus on building relationships and other more inherent human activities. So this is automations. Hope you've enjoyed this, and we'll see you next time on Feature Friday.